What a day to enjoy the green of springtime. The trees are starting to bud out. Flowers are blooming. The grass is growing. Blue skies, warm, breezy. It's the perfect day to crawl under a car. Well, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of room to work under here. But what we're trying to do is get to the evaporation canister and replace the vent valve on it. This is the problem I've talked about, not being able to fill the gas tank with a regular gas flow because the tank will not vent. Pressure builds up and keeps tripping the automatic shutoff in the gas dispenser spout. Is that right? Spout? What would you call it? Spout? Nozzle. Nozzle, that's it. It's a nozzle. Anyway, it's a problem. So, we're going to drop this canister down. I'm not going to disconnect it. I'm simply going to unattach it and let it fall down so I can get to the vent valve, which of course is on the top of it, which means it's against the bottom of the car. So, I got my 10mm socket. Let's see if we can get these 4 nuts off and look at the top of this canister. There's always one that you have a problem with. Gotta go get some pliers. Okay, I think we have every eventuality covered here. One of those pair of pliers ought to get this thing off. we finally got this rascal down. Whew. And this is what we're replacing. Okay, that has it unplugged. And I think you have to twist it and get it out. And I think that's going to be a two-handed job. Okay, we got it loose. Now the problem is going to be getting it out. Okay, finally. There it is. Whew. Well, that was a chore. Okay, here's what we've been struggling to get out. And I don't know. It's open right now. Don't know if that's our problem or not. So we have a replacement here. But I see a problem. They are almost, but not quite, identical. My goodness, the connectors are different. This is the old, this is the new. Different shape, different dimensions, and apparently a different way of hooking up. Everything else looks like it would match up just fine as far as the installation goes. I don't think there'll be any problem there. But I can't plug it in. Okay. That means I might have to go do some investigating and see what the problem is here. Because this was supposed to be an exact replacement part. I've run into this before in even getting parts for Pearl. Sometimes those exact replacements aren't necessarily as exact as they say they are. And I think that's the case here. It looks like they've updated the part, and there obviously is some additional part that I'm missing. So let me go see what I can find out, and we'll come back to this. Nothing's ever easy, is it? Okay, about an hour's work on the web, and here's what I found out. They do make a little pigtail adapter to go with this particular vent valve that will adapt this connection to this connection, the one that's actually on the car. So I can get that and possibly use this. But the more I get to looking, these valves are different. I don't know how much you can see, but this one plunges down and up to close that way. This one, I really can't tell. It appears to be, maybe it's up and it plunges all the way down to close. But it's made differently even on the bottoms here. I'm not sure how much you can see, but there's a difference in the way the springs are built inside, and there's also a difference in the locking mechanism on them. It looks like they would both work in the same place, but I'm just really not sure. So I think I may be better off sending this back and trying to get this exact replacement, which of course means I'm not going to get it replaced today. That's the downside. I really have no choice but to put this one back in and put the entire EVAP system back in place and see what I can find out about replacing the valve. So for now, I guess I'm finished today. I'm going to put this back in, put those 4 bolts back on my EVAP, put it back in place. hope it still works enough. I probably still take forever to fill my gas tank up, but you know, that's a small price, I think, for getting the proper replacement part. I don't want to piece it together. I want to be sure I have the right thing. So we will be coming back to this project on the Equinox here on the MT and Me. Hello again, my nomies. Another day here on the MT and Me, and another day in Pearl. First of all, a little bit of an update on the Equinox project. I put the original valve that I took out back into the charcoal canister, hooked it back up, put the canister back in place, and good news, the car still runs. Got to check engine light now, but I kind of figured I'd get that just for messing with the system anyway. But everything seems to be working just fine. And I ordered another one of these. One that is an exact replacement. Or at least it says it is, and it looks like it is. Now, once again, we've been deceived before when it comes to ordering parts. So I'm not going to count any eggs before they hatch. We'll see when the other part comes in next week and see what we can do with it, okay? But enough of that. So, some progress is being made, and we had a good learning experience. Before we go this week, though, I do want to give you a little bit of an update on the work we're doing on the roof here in Pearl. You may recall on the last video, we came in and we put in the last 3 of our trusses across the top. And they kind of sort of fit, but not exactly. This one and this one are both fitting snug, but they have pretty big gaps along the top of them, especially this one on the front. This one in the middle is just not touching at all. It's being, the ceiling's being held up, mainly because of these gaps. Now, those gaps are because I have 4 bolts that are still in the roof that actually go through the outer roof and attach to these inside metal frames in 4 different places, obviously. I'm not real sure what the original purpose of the bolts was. Maybe it was a place to add a cargo rack or some sort of accessory rack on the top, perhaps, because these bolts are definitely heavy enough to have mounted something like that. And the fact that they went through the roof and actually went through the frame and mounted would make anything attached to them extremely secure, because it would literally be attached directly to the framework of the RV. I don't know if that was their purpose or not. The thing is, they don't really have a purpose now. They are holding the aluminum roof firmly against the braces in those 4 spots. And they're also creating a problem for me now, trying to put these rafters in. Let me jack this roof back up briefly and take these last 3 rafters out, and I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, that should be enough to get this one out of the way. And I can show you this bolt. See, this is the head. It goes through from the bottom here, through the steel framing beam, through the aluminum roof, and it's secured on the top, on the outside. There's that one there. There's another one over here. And there are two more located under this back frame here and here. As long as those bolts are there, those two trusses are not going to fit flat up against the ceiling framing. And as long as they're not fitting flat, this one in the middle is going to stay loose. So, our next step is going to be getting those bolts out. Let me show you what they look like on the outside. Okay, I have the tarp on top of Pearl pushed back enough to show you one of these bolts. This is what they look like from top side, right here. Now they're well covered, well sealed, and that's going to make them, well, difficult to get out, to say the very least. But we've got to figure out a way to do it. It's got these covers on them just to keep them from scraping against the tarp and punching a hole. So, the bolts have got to come out, even if it means cutting them off. We'll just have to come out here another day when we have a full day to devote to the project and see what we can do. In the meantime, I'm kind of at a little bit of a standstill as far as working on the roof on the inside. I can still see if I can do some work on installing those wooden panels for added roof support. So maybe we'll kind of focus on that until the day we get those bolts out and can get back on installing our rafters and trusses going across. So overall, this week's work hasn't been a total bust. We just kind of got a plan of action for working on Pearl, for what we need to do next on her. We can work on the roof panels for the time being until we get those bolts out, and then we can make some make some real progress on getting the trusses installed and getting ready, hopefully, to put a brand new coating on the roof. Of course, before we do that, I also have to order a new vent, because the one that's on the front is totally shot, and guess I need to start looking for those too. So, okay, the list keeps getting longer. We did all that just in the last hour or two. Yesterday, when we got out on the Equinox, we found out we had the wrong part, a part that would feasibly work with an additional wiring pigtail, but it's just not the OEM. But I did find one online and I've ordered it, so maybe next time around we can get it installed on the Equinox and see if we can't get our EVAP system straightened out. That'll be a big step toward getting it into, I don't want to say drivable condition, because I'm driving it all the time. It runs great. It just has a few little nicks and quirks that need straightening out, and having an easy time putting gas in the fuel tank is one of them. Hopefully, the correct vent valve will help with that. find out. Thanks a lot for watching this week and every week. I really do appreciate your continued support. You can show me more support by buying me a coffee. There's a link for that below. There's also a link to themtnmeat.com. And of course, you can click subscribe and give me a thumbs up. That'll help more than anything. Just having you there watching and letting me know you're watching and letting YouTube know you're watching. That's one of the most valuable things you can do. And I appreciate you watching each and every week. So thanks again for that. I hope everything's going your way. We'll be here next time to get some more done on Pearl and on the Equinox. And maybe we'll meet with a little more immediate success. I doubt it, but it's possible. Anyway, I love you, Nomies. Thanks again. I'm Russ, and we'll talk later.